Hello crafters, welcome to my channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I'm going to make a fun fold flap card. There's a playlist down in the description. This is the two other cards that I have made, and today's one is going to be a gatefold fun fold flap card. What a mouthful. I'm going to use some products in my stash and they're mostly made to surprise, but you can use whatever you have in your craft room. So this is basically what I'm going to be using for most of the card. I'm going to use this, it's the Party Time die set. I'll go through all the products I use once I flip the camera around, but I thought you might like to see the card itself. So I'm going to move over here so that you can see it, and I hope you can see it all. I think this is a really fun card, and I think my mother-in-law will like it. There's plenty of room on the back to write your message, and the whole thing folds up and closes. And there's not a whole lot of bulk to it, so it should fit nicely into an envelope. So I'm going to flip the camera down now. I'll go through the products that I used, and I'll show you how I made this really fun fold flap gatefold card. So very quickly, I'm going to go through the products that I've used, and most of them, if not nearly all of them, are made to surprise products, but I am using this. It's the Whiz Kids paper pad, and I just love it for kids, but I loved it for the colors for some of the pattern pieces. So I've used that for my gifts. I've used this one, the mosaic tiles, for my background. I've used the Sentiments A5 stamp set for the Big Birthday Deserves a Big Card. I've used the congratulations here in this Sentiments A5 stamp set. And on the back, I have used the Happy Birthday to You, wishing you lots of love on this special day. I've also used the large numbers. I'm using the 80 and 2, as you would have seen. I love this one because it's a big number. It has a big shadow as well as the actual number, and the shadows can be used as the number. So really cool. So I have all my bits and pieces here. I'm going to bring them all in for you to see. And I'm going to start with the measurements of what you need, and then I'll go through the pieces that I've used that are part of this die set, the Party Time die set, and this is the main focus for my die. Now, you'll have seen on the intro, I used not only the congratulations here, but these little they're like, you know, the confetti out of a party popper. I used two of them to embellish the front that you'll have seen. So you'll see me putting that all together. So this is the main piece that I'm going to use these dies. But you could just die cut out a wreath. You could cut out some different boxes and balloons from what you have from your stash. You don't have to use this. I'm just using it because I have it in my stash. So the first thing I did was I took a piece of cardstock. Now this cardstock is about 220, I think, something like that. And I'm not too worried that it's a lighter cardstock. Normally I would use a 300 GSM as a base, but I'm putting mats and layers on this, so it's going to build it up for me. So this piece here measures 12 inches by 10 3/4. I've scored it at 3 and at 9. Then I have turned it around and I have scored it at 8 inches. Now you can see here we have these 3 panels here. The one in the middle, this long piece here, I want to cut this out. So I've taken my scissors, I started cutting. And I thought, no, I better wait and do it on the video. So I've just cut up here and cut up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the middle piece. And I find the best way to do it is fold these two over if you can. And then cut it from there. Now you could use your trimmer. This needs to be nice and tidy. it's the bottom of our card. I'm not great with a scissors, unlike a lot of crafters. They do with the scissors and they do beautifully. But sure, look, we won't worry about it. Then this piece you can use to cut some tabs. So don't get rid of this. Hold on to this piece and I'll show you what I'm going to use it for later. So if you burnish all your score lines, like so. I'll move my scissors out of the way. That could be dangerous. We're going to have a card that should stand. It should stand like so. Now, once the weight is on it, this will stand. Now, I did this with the man cave, and I also did it in my live. I did a video similar. It's cutting out and having your pop-ups here. I'm going to put those other two videos into a playlist with this. On those, I put a tent-fold at the back. I don't think this needs it. You could put a tent-fold on the back if you want, but I think this is going to be fine like so. And again, once we have the weight of our pop-ups here and our mats and layers on, I think it will stand up really well. So onto this, we want a couple of things. So I have cut out two pieces. One is a piece of pattern paper and the other is a white piece that you can see here. These piece measures 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. This one is going to go on here. And then this piece is going to be our back panel, which will stamp our smaller sentiment, and we'll embellish this then with some of our leftover pieces that we will die cut out. So that's the two of those, and I'll stick that on the back there, just like that for now. Then we want 4 pieces, 2 of which are white cardstock and 2 are pattern paper. And they need to be 2 3/4 by 7 3/4. Now, I'm going to have my 2 white panels in here, and I'm going to stamp my sentiments on them, which you will have seen at the start. And then these 2 will go on the back. So when our doors, our gatefold closes over, it'll close over like so, and then we'll have the 2 panels on the front. And I'm not embellishing these with anything because, as you will have seen, I'm leaving it blank. I don't want the recipient to think it's to be displayed this way. I want them to know it gets displayed this way. So now, with the leftover piece the piece that we cut out of here in the middle, I cut out 4 little pieces. And each of these measures 2 inch by 1 inch. I've scored it then at 1/4 inch, and what I've done is I've burnished that fold. I took my scissors and I cut off the corners just a little bit to tidy it up, and then you can either cut a slit in here, feed this through and have it stand up like I did in the previous 2 cards, or you can put 2 of these together like what I've done here. And you'll have the little 1/4 inch tabs open, and you can just stick them down like so and then pop up your sentiments on there. I thought this would be a good way to show, because some people aren't confident with a blade, you know. I'm not. I don't like using a craft knife or a blade to cut into things. So I just thought I'd show you a different way to put that on. Now, if you do decide you want to cut a slot, feed this through, then you will need to put a piece of cardstock on the back here just to cover up that tab that you will see. Now, if you want to do that, you'll need to put a piece of cardstock or pattern paper, and it'll need to be 2 3/4 by 2.5 should do it. So I'm going to glue these 2 together like so, and I'll have my little tabs sitting out so we have this shape. Okay, now let's see. Now I'm going to get to the dies that I've used. So I'll move that out of the way. With the die set, I have taken this main die here, and like I said, you can take 2 nesting dies and make a frame, because that's what I have in essence here, is a frame. And then I've die cut out all these little pieces except for the candle and the little confetti swirls. I didn't die cut them out. And you can see here I've got lots of little gift boxes that I die cut out in pattern paper. And then what I did was I just took my alcohol markers and coloured pieces and parts of them in, do you know, so that they look like gift boxes. Some of them I cut in plain cardstock and then just drew little designs on them, like that one and that one and that one. And then you've got all the other little things. You've got the balloons, the little party hats, and the whole lot. I love this one. It makes me think of a little frog. But I have all them there, and I've die cut out loads of them so that I can embellish my panels as well as the wreath. So I will show you me assembling them. I also cut out a couple of the banners, and I'm going to embellish the 2 panels on the side and the back panel, again using my leftover pieces. So that's that. I've only die cut out one of these. That's all you'll need, and I'll have that ready to add the pieces with it. So now I've taken, if you ignore my 2 little party boxes here, because I don't want the video to be too long, so I kind of got ahead of myself in some pieces. When you're die cutting out this die, what I recommend you do is you die cut out your cardstock that you want to be seen in the front, and then whatever colour you want behind, I've gone with gold here. Die cut the 2 together. So what I did was I took a piece of my brown cardstock and a piece of gold cardstock. I set them together. I didn't glue them now or anything. Just put them together. Pop your die over the top. Put it through your die cut machine. You take them off. You peel this top one. They kind of sit firmly together. Just peel the top one off. They'll come away because you haven't used glue. And you'll be left behind more or less with all the little letters left on the gold card. So when you peel the brown one off, you'll have your gold card underneath with the brown letters stuck to it. And you can just flick them off. I used a pokey tool to pop some of them off. Most of them, they just popped off. But because you've die cut it in 2 layers, the gold letters don't cut out. You can see where the pressure has gone, but they haven't really cut out. So what I do is I put a bit of double-sided tape on the back now after they've been die cut out. You could do it before if you want, but I do it after. And that way then I can take my brown piece, add some liquid adhesive behind that, sit it over the top, and it'll sit back in like a jigsaw piece. And then you'll have your gold letters in with the brown. Because what you can do is you can piece the letters in, but that to me is too much like hard work. And crafting is supposed to be a fun time and not a hard work time. So that's what I do to get my 2 layers and have my letters coming through. And then you can see at the back where this is going to sit on here, where our pattern paper is in the middle here of our 2 gatefold doors. This kind of set over a little bit. You'll see it there. It was kind of a little bit too long. So what I did was I just cut a bit off either end, and then I've put my little gift boxes on there. But I've done it so that it hides where I've cut it and also embellishes this piece. So that's that piece using that die. Now, what else do I want to show you? Oh yes, my happy birthday. I have used the, and I didn't share those. I use these 2 dies. They're the All the Sentiments dies and the Big Word dies. I've used the happy here and the birthday here, and I've die cut them out in the brown cardstock for my shadow, and then the gold for my happy and birthday. And I'm going with this color palette because it's the colors my mother-in-law likes. She likes the browns and golds and oranges, very autumnal tones, I would say, is what she likes. So hence the reason I'm going for this. If I was doing this for my mom, I would go more spring, summer colors, whites and pinks and yellows, and you know, so that's why I've gone with those. And then with the large numbers, I have my 82 die cut out there as well and ready to go. So my happy birthdays are going to sit up here. They're going to be on the panels, and when we come to assemble them, we need to make sure when we put these on here that they're going to fold up and they're going to sit like that. It doesn't matter if they overlap onto this side, because these will fold over, but we'll have to watch that they don't go past our score lines here. But I'll get to all that as we're getting to it. So that's all our bits and pieces and everything we'll need to make our lovely card. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and stamp onto these two panels with my sentiments. I'm going to also stamp on my back panel with my sentiment, and I'm going to embellish them using all our bits and pieces here. I'm also going to start on my wreath and start putting all my boxes and balloons and everything on that. So I'm going to clear this off and we're going to do some stamping, and then we're going to do some assembly. So what I like to do is when I'm doing some assembly, I like to put some of the little pieces up on foam tape and have some glued down. And I've already got my wreath done, as you can see here. So what I would do when I'm doing this is I would take one of my little pieces and I would find where that goes. So that is this one here. So I would start with this one and I would glue this down. And I would just use my liquid glue for some of it. So layer all your pieces down first, just like so. Then when you have them all with your balloons and everything down in place, then take the first piece and glue that down. Then take your next piece and put foam on it and work around the wreath, because you'll have everything down. You know where everything goes. Then you can do that. I should have recorded doing this, but I was actually crafting with my friends. I have a couple of crafty friends that I like to craft with. And so what I did was I was doing a lot of that. I forgot to record it. I had it in my head. I'm going to record it and I'll just speed through it, but I forgot. But you can see all my little pieces here. I have embellished some using a white gel pen, using alcohol markers, and I've used glossy accents on some parts of them and not on others, and it was really fun to do. Now I have to admit it takes a little while to glue things down, to die cut them out and colour them in and everything, but I enjoyed doing that. There are pieces that I haven't, you know, the little little confetti pieces, I didn't die cut them out and I've just left them white, because when this goes on my center panel it won't need it. So I've them all there ready to go. The next thing now that I would do is I would stamp my panels. So these panels here would be the next thing that I would do. I would take my panels and stamp my sentiments. So for my two side panels here, I have those stamped and done already. So you can see them there. And what I did was I stamped my two sentiments on them. I took the little confetti stamps from the stamp set and I stamped them down, and I kind of pulled out the colours that I liked in the card. So mostly a kind of a yellowy green color, a green and a brown, and then I stamped my 2 sentiments in the brown, and I just embellished it using some of the pieces, some of the gift boxes and the little banners there. And I also took some glossy accents. I added them to my gifts, as well as little drops of accent glaze to my panels, and I have the 2 of those done. You can see them there, and I hope you can see the shine. And the reason I've gone ahead and done these is because if I did that with you, then the accent glaze would be wet, so it's easier for me to do it beforehand. And then our center panel for the back, I have that done here as well. So I added some extra little banners across the top, stamped my sentiment in the middle, added a couple of boxes, some of the balloons. These are all little bits that I had left over from when I was done the wreath. And then again, I added some accent glaze to my balloons, to my little party hat, and to my gift boxes. And I hope you can see that all there. And I love that because I think the color palette is brown and golds and autumn tones, but I think these will lift it into a fun card. So once you have your panels done and ready to go, the next thing is assembly, and I'm going to go ahead and do that with you now. So first I'm going to take my little tabs and I'm going to glue them together. I won't put any glue on the little 1/4 inch tabs there. I'll take my pattern paper and I'll glue that down, and I'm mostly using my collal glue because when that dries it goes nice and hard and it'll give strength to our card, but you can use whatever glue or adhesive you like. Then I just want to make sure that my wreath is going to fit in because there are some sticking out pieces, so it needs to be, you know, able to close. So once I'm happy with that, I stuck down my happy birthday to someone special sentiment, stick down my wreath, and then add my numbers. Now, you could give these a little bit of dimension because we have some dimension on some of our gifts on the wreath, but I chose to just stick them straight down because they're big numbers and I didn't feel they needed to be popped up. So the thing when we're putting these on here is with our sentiment, whatever sentiment you're using, you need to be able to pop this on here and know that when this folds up, it's not going to be peeking out the side here. It needs to be, it can be up here, but as long as it's not peeking out the side here, because otherwise it won't close. So wherever you have it, it just needs to be back from there. I like the idea of having mine at a jaunty angle, like so. So that it, when the card is open like that, I think if the card is open like that, it'd be nice to have the happy there and the birthday there, like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick down my panels. I have a beaker here. I'm going to put that behind just so the happy is going to go, it's going to be more at an angle. I think I'm going to have my angle set like so, you know, and that way then it'll give me something to work on. So I'm looking at that point there and this point here. Now you could use a pencil and mark your piece, but I'm going to put mine there. And then once I have that there and it's stuck down, then I can gauge where my happy needs to be stuck onto it. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to use my quick grab glue. And I'm going to use my ruler just as an idea. I can slip this under and then use the ruler as a gauge. So I've my ruler down point to point there. I've slipped my little tab underneath and now I can add that down. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. I'm going to have my ruler down there like that from point to point. I'll add some glue on this, and then I'll just lift my ruler a little bit so I can slide that under and pop that down. And then I know these two are exactly in the same place. Now I'm going to give them time to dry before I go putting my happy birthday on them. So I'll move that out of the way there. And then you can see my two pieces. So when these get closed up, those panels they'll fold up. Just give them time to dry, and then the card will close over. So I'm going to let them dry, and I think what I'm going to do is, I think that should stand up there nicely with those on it, and I'm going to embellish this then with some of the leftover gifts that we have. I'm going to move on now to the back, and I'm going to add my white piece of card that I've embellished, and I'm going to add the two pieces of pattern paper as well. And I'm using the collal glue for strength. You can also put pattern paper on the two squares below them if you like. Measurements for that will be in the description. Let's go back now and add our two pop-up sentiments to the front panels. See, if I put that in there now, it's not going to work. So I need that to be there. It can go there because it's inside the score line. So when you're putting these on, close them down and bring them over and see where they're sitting. So this is a bit of a faff now, to be honest, trying to get these so that they sit where you want them. But I think once you have them in place, you should be happy enough with it. So don't have it go past this line here. So let me see. I think maybe if I sit it down like that, I can see where I want to put my glue. I'm going to draw a little pencil line around there like that. And I know this is inside my line. So now I know exactly where I need to put my liquid adhesive. So I'm going to fold that down like that. Make sure there's no glue on the other side. And now when that folds up, you can see there it's just missing the score line. And I know there's a bit over there, but I'm not too worried when the recipient opens the card. If that's peeking over like that, I don't mind. So with the happy now, I have a better idea. I know that the bottom of the Y needs to be inside that edge of that little panel there. So once I have that set down there, then I'll know where to glue. So again, I'm going to use my pencil just to draw around that, so I'll have an idea of where I want my glue to be. And I'll glue that down. I'm being a little over generous with the liquid adhesive. There's no need for that. Just enough to stick it to our little tab. That's all you need really. And then I'll pop that over. Give it a little press. Make sure there's no glue on the other side. That's oozed out, but I don't mind because this glue, it's not a tacky glue. The Barely Art Precision Glue, when this dries, it doesn't leave a mark on it really, and it doesn't leave a tacky mark. So I really like that about this one. So there we are. We have our two pieces. They will fold up like so, and then they will close over like so. So we have a little bit popping out there, but it all depends on the size sentiments you use. And for me, I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me at all. I think it gives a great look. And then the recipient will know just to pop them up like that. You know? Oh, I think that's smashing. So it looks like that, I think. It's kind of hard to show you here now. but I'll take pictures straight on so you'll be able to see them in the images at the end. But it does, and it sits really well. I love that. And I've got some of these. So I think what I will do is I will add a couple of little gift boxes to the front here. It'll cover up the little, it'll cover up. But again, we don't want this to come off too much. So I'm going to just take a little few, just like that. So I don't think you need to watch me faffing around with these little gift boxes on the front here. So I've sped it up, but I'm just going to decorate there. I'm keeping it within the brown square panel that they're going to sit on. And they're just really to cover up the little tabs. That's all. So there we go. There is our fun flap card. I have it lying down here, but I will have a little video at the end and you'll be able to see it. I think this is so fun. It stands up on its own with our sentiments then looking out. Happy birthday. I just love this. And then the back of our card, we have room there to write sentiment to the recipient, which is my mother-in-law. And yeah, it all folds up really nice. The sentiments pop up like so, and then they just fold in like that. We do have a little bit popping out. Now we could close it like so that it's hidden when it goes into the envelope. You can't see it there, so it's kind of locked into place underneath, so it can be hidden. And then when you open it up and the recipient has it, it'll pop out like that. I think the recipient will know to kind of pop them up like that, you know. I love it. I think it's so cute. I think it's, and yeah, so there we go. There is our cool card. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you have, you might give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, Blonde Cards and Crafts, and ding the bell. That way you'll be notified next time I post a new video. You can share your makes with me on my Facebook group called Your Cards and Crafts. And if you'd like to help support my channel, you can click the super thanks button down below. That will help my channel. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and bye for now.